This is Bringing the Darkness to the Light with Catherine Nadal, professional psychic medium.
Today's guest is Patrick Gagliardi. He is the vocalist for the Canadian rock band Storm Force. It is a pleasure to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah, no, it's very exciting. You know, I was reading a lot about your band and I was listening to what I could see on YouTube. I'm really very excited because I don't know your band very well. So I want to know all about you as a musician, but I also want to know about how this came together because I know you're new to Brave Words Records, right?
That's right.
All right, good. So tell me how you started your career in music.
I mean, like most musicians, I was pretty young. I started playing drums when I was 12, actually. I wasn't a singer at all. Played a lot of bands, different drums, played your high school and all that stuff. And then, the biggest thing was we could never find a singer. So I started drumming and singing, right? And they're like, all right. I eventually, a couple of years later, just went and hooked up with a band and just became the singer. And I still do drum occasionally, but not very often. So I just became a lead singer. Then I had a band in Canada called Surface Tension, which was like an independent heavy band in the early 90s. We toured Canada, stuff like that, had some fun there. Then, of course, after that, I did some cover bands, had some fun, all kinds of different varieties. I've been in a disco funk band. I've been in all kinds of, whatever you can imagine. I've been in a country band, but my passion was always hard rock. Ever since I was a kid, I was a fan of, bands like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath. Thinking back on those, I think about those bands a lot, about the way they wrote songs just for themselves. And then they just, hope the world like them. They weren't really the kind of bands that were, we got to write a hit. We got to knock this down and get a hit. No, we got to write what we like. And I feel that that's what we do in Storm Force. Not that things can't be a hit, but we write them because we like them. So fast forward many, many years later, Greg Fraser, who's the guitar player from Brighton Rock in Canada. And they did very well. They had a few albums, had a couple gold albums, and they were nominated for the Juno Awards numerous times, which is like the Grammys in Canada. So he had connected with me after Brighton Rock kind of broke up. And he said, I want to do something new. And actually, the funny thing is, we were working on a song. This is 20 years ago, gotta be. We were working on a song called Savior, which is actually on the new album. So back then, it just didn't work out, schedules, whatever. And then in 2019, 2018, he reached out again, and he had something that he was interested in. I went down to the studio. We knocked out a few songs. And then he goes, hey, you in? I said, yeah, I'm in. Let's do it. So a few other musicians and started recording the first album, which was called Age of Fear. And we had some good success with that, some great reviews on that album. We loved it. We were super proud of it. And then we said, well, let's do another album. But the intention was to do the album a year later, 2 years later, then became 3 years later. And then I started feeling like we were Boston and it was going to be 10 years later. But no, we knocked it off in 6 years. And that's just more scheduling conflict. I'm the lyricist, so I wasn't always inspired with lyrics. And then eventually I completed my part. We completed the rest of the parts. And now the album's coming out in August. And that's Truth. And that's most of my path.
Wow. You said a whole lot in very little time. I wanted to go back to when you were young, though, because, I interview a lot of musicians. Sometimes I get a lot of different backgrounds with musicians. Some people grow up in a very musical household and other people do not. So when you said that you were kind of drawn to the drums, a lot of guys are, and then they automatically go running to the guitar. So was your family musical, or do you feel that you were kind of on your own in that process?
So my family was definitely musical. We weren't like the Jacksons, but we would have New Year or Christmas Eve. We'd have my brother on guitar, my other brother on guitar. I'd be playing drums. I have another brother that sings, and he sings in a band currently. And we would, perform for the people at the parties. So it definitely was musical. I definitely moved in that hard rock where they were not hard rock at all at the time. So I'm the first one to I was the black sheep of the family going with the hard rock.
Yeah. So were your parents musical? Because you're saying that you're brothers, but like, were your parents musical?
Not my father. He's a golfer. He liked to
Uh-huh.
golf a lot. No, my mother actually was a singer. From what I hear, she was very good, and I heard her much, much later in life, and she sounded pretty good. But I guess when she was young, like I mean, 15, she actually was offered to go sing backup for some band and tour Canada. Unfortunately, back then, she got pregnant at 15 from my father, so she got married, and that was the end of that dream.
Oh, wow. That is really interesting. Yeah. So, for the fact that you said your brothers were into guitar and that you were the one that went the rock path, are you the youngest?
I am the youngest, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, were you growing up in the 70s, 80s around that time?
80s. Yeah, 80s
80s.
mostly. Like I was born in the 60s, but late 70s, early 80s is when I really started getting into music. And actually, I forgot to mention my brother was a drummer. So and he had a lot of natural talent, and he actually, I'll tie this all in. He played drums with Greg Frazier from Brighton Rock, who's the creator of Stormforce, in middle school. So they played drums, he played drums, and Greg used to sleep at my house when I was just a little kid. So yeah, even that was, and he played drums and he was very good at it, but he lost interest really quickly. He was in for a couple years and then did not do it at all. And now he sings in a band, but he only started singing again 20 years ago. So he
Oh,
totally
wow.
left music and then came back. But
Yeah.
that's how I met Greg Frazier. I was probably, I don't know, 9 years old when I met Greg, and he was probably 12 or 13.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So, your circles have been small all along. It's interesting. What
Yeah.
part of Canada are you from?
I'm from Niagara Falls. So it's about an
Oh.
hour from Toronto.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you're actually on the New York side or the Canadian side?
Yeah, Canadian side.
Oh, okay. All right, good. So
Yeah,
you're very
yeah.
near to Buffalo.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Been to Buffalo a million times, and I've been to New York a few times too.
Oh, wow. Very cool. Yeah. It's interesting because we're probably very close in age. And growing up, one of the biggest influences that I had, and I don't play any instruments, was Kiss. Kiss Alive and the whole influence of Kiss, even just watching how they kind of transitioned. They had action figure dolls. I mean, they had everything. So,
They're good at the merch.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But for me, that was really my introduction to what would be really considered, like rock, because we were hearing music all around us, like Deep Purple and the kids in the neighborhood were getting guitars. But to really follow it, to be a fan of music, it was more really like the Van Halen and,
No, I agree.
Kiss and all that stuff. So that's cool. It is interesting because we spoke a little bit about how you said you're a lyricist. When you were growing up, a lot of times when I meet songwriters, they felt they had that when they were younger. And sometimes people find that they can write lyrics from a personal experience. Sometimes people can write it because of a bad experience and a good experience too, but most people, they feel the emotion through a bad experience. So when did you really feel that you had the ability to kind of link all those words together and really create like a song?
Well, I always did like creative writing. So even like, way back grade 3, grade 4, I was always writing stories, more stories, not lyrics. And then early in high school, I started probably somewhat of necessity. Hey, someone's got to write the lyrics. I want to do it. And Greg's actually a fan of this too, is having your singer write lyrics if he's capable of doing it. Because if he's going to sing those words, he has to feel those words. So if it's something I've written myself, it's going to mean more to me on a personal level.
It's interesting too because we're talking earlier before we started the recording, and we talked about we're going to be playing some music during this show. 3 of the 4 songs are coming from your first album with Storm Force. The first song is actually "Breathe," and that
Right.
always reminds me of Pink Floyd, with that whole thing. So tell me a bit about "Breathe," because we're going to have the opportunity to play that during the show. So tell me a bit about that song.
So breathe is actually, it isn't personal, but it's based on, just the idea. So it's about depression. I guess my view on depression, right? Of getting someone to help you, having a good circle. In the song, the format's more more of a lover based, like helping each other kind of rise up and get past the issues that you have. So it wasn't based on me personally, but I've just known many people, and I can understand depression. I can't understand it because I've never had it, but I can see how, something can completely affect your life. And it's always good to have, support. So, and instead of a therapist in the song, it's, the person's the lover that is helping them, lift them out of the doldrums and lift them out of depression.
Wow, I really appreciate that explanation because mental health is really on the rise, and the concern for people and how they're handling mental health, but more importantly, really who's supporting people that are going through that. There's been a big push for people to understand that there's kind of like a hotline, at least here in America, called 988, which is a number that people can call to notify that someone is going through something or that someone themselves are going through something. And it's really there to let people know that they aren't alone. And like your song, you said that it's more of a couple relationship, which I find really great because it's usually the couple relationship where sometimes people say, well, I just couldn't do it anymore. They're having a hard time supporting the person. They're having a hard time staying in that situation. They find it easier to work longer hours, because it's the same day in, day out. I really appreciate that your song kind of shows that there is support within the close knit to the person that is going through that. Wow, it's really interesting. We're going to play Breathe. I wanted to also bring up, because in life there's many things like you had talked earlier that you were in a band early on called Surface Tension.
Yeah.
And that was like what you considered to be like kind of your most established band before you were in Storm Force. What was that
Yes.
band like? I'm not
Absolutely.
familiar with it. It's again a Canadian band. Was it rock? Was it heavy metal? What was the kind of basics of that?
Yeah, I would say similar to Stormforce in a way, like in that genre, anyways. Melodic, hard rock, maybe slightly edging on heavy metal. It was a great band. It was we never got there. That's why you never heard of us. We did have some conversations with some record labels, but by the time interest had grown to where we could maybe do something, we kind of broke up. So that kind of ended that. But no, it was still fun, and I cut my teeth that way. So I got out there on the road. We did tours of Canada, 3 or 4 month tours. So I owe a lot to that experience. Because that's you learned how to manage a band, how to manage your time, how to get on stage, how to put on a good show, how to be a front man. So that was my developmental years. Like that's what developed me into being able to do this. So, and it was a great band, but it was a awesome chapter in my life, and I loved being on the road too because it was always some cool experiences out there.
Yes. So around what time was Surface Tension out there touring?
Surface Tension, like 92 to 95, I would say,
All
around
right.
there.
Wow. Wow.
Maybe
So
96, 92 to
so the
96.
the music timeline is very important in my interviews because a lot of people forget that music really changed around that time. It's a pivotal time in
Yes, it did.
music. Yeah, a pivotal time in music. So we went from the 80s hair band and we were kind of sliding into Guns N' Roses, and then all of a sudden the grunge movement kind of moved in on the whole world, not just, stateside. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's kind of interesting. Some people felt that the grunge period helped them in some way. Most people feel the opposite. Tell me about touring with Surface Tension. What were the bands that you were touring with? Were they all Canadian, or were you hooking up with bands that were coming from America when they were in Canada? How was it working?
Mostly, I'm trying to think if there's any American bands. Mostly Canadian for sure. There might have been an American band here that I'm just not thinking about. So we did obviously a lot of opening slots back there. Artists like Lee Aaron, Andy Kern, Coney Hatch, that kind of thing, who were pretty big at that time. Yeah, I can't think of an American band. So because obviously we stayed to Canada because that's where we were. And it was easier at the moment. And because we never reached that level of success, we were unable to go, get Van Halen to take us on tour.
That I
But
understand. That I understand. But it's interesting because Canadian bands that were big then, some of them are still big now. I have friends that are in Aldo Novo. They've been
okay.
playing out for the last at least 4 years.
Oh yeah.
And I just recently saw Triumph. They came through New York City, so I
Okay,
got
yeah.
to see them. And also, they toured with April Wine, another amazing Canadian band.
Incredible.
Yeah, yeah. And
It's
I
funny.
I love it because they go back to back then, and they're here now. So to me, as a fan base, the young people didn't know them back then, but we did. So it's almost like they have a
Right.
second life to the band.
I remember thinking, and April Wine were very big in Canada, very big, and I believe they got some success in the States, but they were very big in Canada. And as a kid, I knew no different. To me, they were huge. They were just like Kiss. Obviously they did not reach that level, but to me, it was like Nature of the Beast was like, wow, what a killer album this is.
Yes, yeah. All three of those bands. Triumph, I have the song right over my studio here from Never Surrender. Triumph is just my all-time favorite band. So,
They were
wow,
incredible.
yeah. They still are, It's just they've added Phil X, who I know. They've added Kearns. There's
Yeah,
just,
Todd, yeah.
yeah, it's just amazing. It's amazing how they all just fit in so perfectly. So I really hope that's not the end of Triumph. But yeah.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to see them this tour, but I wish I would have.
Yeah.
I saw them back the Sport of Kings album. They're awesome.
Lucky you. Yeah. Very good. Wow. Yeah. So those bands were really a big influence on me. And it's interesting that I wanted to go back to Surface Tension when we were just talking about it, because like you said, you really had the opportunity to kind of develop yourself as a front man. You know, a lot of people look at the singer of a band and say, that is the front man. So I'm sure early on, you really realized what works and what doesn't work, because the audience is usually staring at the singer most of the concerts. So early on, did you really kind of like start to say, okay, I really need to tweak things? And now do you look back and say, look how far I've come?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I will say one thing about myself. I was always fearless on stage. Like, I don't know. I just, it came natural to me. Like that wasn't a problem. I was never that nervous guy standing in front of the mic going, hello, we're Surface Tension. That was never me. I was like, you. Right? Like I was screaming at the audience from when I was like 15 years old.
Oh, that's good.
So, because I always I looked at my idols, right? I would watch Kiss. So Kiss, when Destroyer came out, you know, that was huge for me. So Paul Stanley, that was his approach to speaking to crowd. It was a scream. He was always yelling at the crowd. He was never going, hey, how you guys doing? Right? So that influenced me to take that approach. I definitely scream at my audience.
So great. So tell me about Because of You, the second song.
So Because of You, it's just, I mean, there's actually some people that take a different interpretation. I didn't actually write the lyrics to that one song on the album. That was actually Greg. But I do know it's just basically it's I don't want to say sports song. It's not about mental health or anything like that. It's more, you know, because of you, I can do things well. A lot of people have misinterpreted it, or maybe interpreted it correctly, as a religious song. I had for a couple of friends go, hey man, you guys should give this song to Stryper. They would kill it. Right. And first of all, Stryper's awesome, so they would kill it. But it's not a religious song, but it does. If you look at the song, look at the lyrics in that vein, and you keep that focus on religion, you'd be like, wow, this sounds like it's talking about Jesus. But it's more about a relationship, but a positive thing. You know, everything I achieved because of you. We do great because of you.
Oh, wow, that's great. Okay, so we're going to play Because of You now.
Because of you, I walk through the fire.
There's so many things in a band people on the outside don't realize. But bands really are kept together with the glue of the band. And the glue of the band is really the relationships of the band members. So how did you feel when you were touring with Surface Tension, and then you get years later the opportunity to be in Storm Force? I'm sure the two bands had different personalities or different work ethics.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, my first bands were more location based, right? Based, hey, went to high school with him. Oh, I like that guy. He's a good drummer, right? Right. And then we became friends, and not all relationships are forever. And I have friends from that band still to this day. But sometimes, like, oh, you have the friend, like, oh, I like the guy, but it's more of a business relationship. Where Storm Force, we all get along really well. Like, we live not too far from each other, but like an hour, some guys, right? So, we try to get together as much as we can. And it's always a pleasure. Like, we really enjoy each other's playing. And I think there's a lot of mutual respect for others' talents. There's some great musicians in this band that, the guys that are standing beside me and behind me, they can play. They can really play. We get along great as well.
Yeah, that's so great. So just to get an idea of when was this album put out, around what time?
2020 was the first album, so that's actually a story in itself.
That's
so
a COVID story in there somewhere.
That's right.
Yes.
So we released the album January 24th in 2020. Right away, we got some great reviews from overseas, Europe, Scotland, Poland, France, all kinds of different places. Things were really looking, as far as, what people thought of the album, really good reviews, lots of great comments. And then we had a couple little show offers where we're going to do this. Nothing concrete yet, because we were just released the album in end of January, and then March 13 hit. And that was the end. We just couldn't tour. Right, every opportunity was kind of taken away, which is a bummer. But you know what? It's fine. It's a blip. Life is a bunch of blips. Some are good blips, some are bad blips, and that's the way I look at. COVID kind of ruined it for a couple of years, but it did make us get back to it, start writing songs again. I know it took forever, but there's always something open at the end. So we're hoping with this album, those trends continue. And we can get out there and play some shows. We did play a few,
yes.
but only around here.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because when I saw the date on that, I was like, oh, there's another COVID story. There's so many COVID stories. And to know at many different levels of bands, it was the only time I remember there was like a paintbrush that everyone at every level was affected the same, So it didn't matter if you were Paul McCartney or Storm Force, you were all getting the same treatment when that was going on. Wow. That's amazing. Sure. Tell me about Dirty Vegas. That's the third song we were going to talk about from that first band.
Dirty Vegas is just a party song, right? Everybody knows Vegas is a great place. What goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas, all that stuff. And that's what Dirty Vegas is about, just staying up all night, drinking, partying. It's just a really good, feel good. Let's have a good time. Let's maybe do some things we regret in the morning, but have a great time.
Misfit night. The balls are all up and they're ready to rumble. The stage is gonna ignite. Silhouette in smoke and fire. Adrenaline burns my veins. If you're
right. So that first album is called what again? Tell me the name of the album again.
Yeah, so the album's called Age of Fear, and that's just because it's one of the songs on the album.
And that's being re-released under Brave Words Records?
The streaming's going to be out through us. Brave Verbs already released it in their streaming on Bandcamp and that, but it'll be coming out in Apple Music. I think it just got published today, but it should be out there tomorrow or the next day. The album will be back.
Okay, great. So your new album, when we talk about the song Truth, which is what we're going to end our interview with, the name of the second album is?
Truth. That's the title track. Yeah.
All right, good. Now, so I was reading that song and the title track Truth will be coming out August 14th. Is that correct?
That's right.
All right, good.
Yep.
And tell me about the other songs, since we're only going to play one. There's several songs, and I was also reading that you have a couple of sit-in musicians on some of them.
There's a song called Between the Lines, which is kind of a love song, but it's a fast song. But it's about a relationship. And we had a guest keyboard player, Ray Coburn. He played for Honeymoon Suite, you probably heard of. He's done some stuff with Supertramp, singer of Supertramp. I believe he lives in New York now, actually. And we had him do all the keys for that song. And he did an awesome job. Some great work in there. And then our other guy that we have, Mike Bedrosian, we call him Benny. I play in a couple. I just have like fun jamming bands with him. So he kind of got in there. And he's done some keys on some of the other songs. Oh, and then we had a cellist too.
Her name is Margaret Maria. She did the cello on I Wasn't Finished Loving You.
Yeah. She's awesome.
Wow, yeah.
Did a great job.
That's really great, though. Yeah, it's very interesting. I was also reading that your debut record was recorded at Hamster Cage Studios, produced by Darius Stefapakic. I don't know.
Don't ask me to say it. There's no way I can say it.
It's tough, right?
It starts with Kerr. I always forget it, and he's told me to Kropatchik.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to miserably fail on it.
Yeah, but he's affiliated with Brock Crowes, Sum 41, Big Sugar, yeah. Wow, it's interesting. Tell me about working with Darius.
Darius, awesome guy. So he was working or recording at a studio called Phase One in Toronto. So Phase One's a pretty historic studio for Toronto. A lot of big bands have recorded albums there, and he's the engineer there, or was the engineer there. So when we did the first album, he's a great fan of Greg's from Brighton Rock, my guitar player in Stormforce, and he offered to just be our guy. So we sent him, rough mixes, and he would mix them. And he does charting for symphonies and stuff like that. Like he'll create like symphony kind of music. So on the first album, he actually did some keys, like symphonic parts to some of the songs. And in the new album too, I believe in I Wasn't Finished Loving You. He did some keys in that too, and some symphony parts. Incredible player, and the guy knows how to make a band sound big. It sounds great. So when we decided to do the second album, we said right away, there's no reason to go anywhere else. He's moved studios now, and I don't remember the name of the new studio, but now he's doing movie scores and more what he loves to do. And he loves to record rock bands, and he loves to make movie scores. So that's what he's doing now, and he finished the new album for us. So that was super nice of him, because we had to, he had a lot on his plate, but he always took time to get our mixes down, and they're always great. Sometimes you go in the studio and you get the mix and you're like, I don't like it. Got to change this, change this, change this. When he first hands you something, it's like, okay, well, I maybe want this changed. But other than that, it's great. Like he's just really good at what he does.
That's great. That's really amazing. That's good to hear. Good for you. I did want to circle back to the song Truth, which is the name of the album. Tell me about that song and about the lyrics and how that came about for you.
That's a great question. So we're not a political band, not in any shape or form, really. We're just pretty much want to have a good time. But you can't help with the political climate of the last few years it affects you, right? So that song it's a fictional story. It's not about your leader. It's not about our leader. It's just about when someone is taking advantage of a country. And, the people rise up against that person because they don't like the way he's doing things or she's doing things. So that's what Truth is about. It's basically about revolution. It's about revolution.
Wow. Very good. All right. Well, I wish you the best with Truth. And
Thank you so much.
I do want to thank Brave Words Records, and I do want to thank Michael Brandvold for sending you my way. It has been a pleasure to interview you, Patrick Gagliardi from Storm Force.
It's all right. You got it.
I'm sure a lot of people stumble over your name, right?
They absolutely do.
Wow.
Including my relatives.
Well, it's interesting. Tell me about your social media and where you guys are going to be playing.
So right now, I have nothing to announce yet. We're just in the planning stage as far as dates. I know that there's a planned date around here, around our area in November. So once the album comes out, we're hoping to get some more offers. We're definitely you're not going to see us do a large tour. We're more going to do a show here, show there, festival, that kind of thing. But I mean, anything's open, but that's probably more the direction you're going to see us go is just that's part of the reason we did this album and the last album is to just have some fun, do some great shows, get out there and play. So we're looking forward to it very much this time, and there will not be another COVID, so we will be there. And we're on Facebook, Instagram. We have a TikTok channel now too, so we're putting some stuff up on that as well. YouTube, of course. I believe we have kind of like a visualizer video coming out for the first track in the next couple of days. We plan on shooting an actual video for probably the third single. We're just still deciding which song that's going to be.
All right, great. Well, it has been a pleasure to speak with you. We're going to roll out with the song Truth from the album entitled Truth. And this has been Storm Force. Thank you again, Patrick.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You have been listening to Bringing the Darkness to the Light with Catherine Nadal, professional psychic medium, Dream Central Station, LLC. My audio editor is Al Hemberger at the Loft Recording Studios in Bronxville, New York. This is WNEW 102.7 FM radio.